look, some point in this video, I'm either gonna change the lighting or I'm gonna end up wearing sunglasses because like the garage is in the direct sunlight of the fucking sun and I'm literally getting blinded, and I feel like the camera is gonna end up overheating too. I need to cover that. Yeah, something's gonna have to change about this. But as you guys can tell, I traded my ZX6R for the Ducati Panigale S 1199. Traded my bike for this bike. Now look, once you park a 636 next to an Italian superbike, it's almost like your brain convinces you you've made the worst financial decision of your entire life. Now look, don't get me wrong, the 6R is cool. I absolutely love that bike, but this thing right here, when you own one of these things, it makes it seem like it should come with an Italian passport. Coming from a 636 that I ride every single day and hopping on an 1199 that I've had for almost a week, the first twist of the throttle, it's like the bike didn't ask you what you wanted. It kind of just decides for itself, and that's kind of the scary but fun part. Now, below 5,000 RPMs on this bike, it's definitely twitchy, jerky, sensitive. It almost feels like it's mad that you're even riding it below 5,000 RPMs. It's almost like it's talking to you and it's saying, bro, I'm a race bike. Why are we just cruising right now? But once you pass the 5,000 RPMs on this bike, it's almost like you're lighting a fuse. Now, the 6R, it takes its sweet time building speed. This thing, if you sneeze, cough, or even fart a little too hard, you're easily doing 100 miles an hour. And that's the part that scared me. It's not the actual speed because I'm used to it. It's just how effortless it gets up to that speed. Now, let me just nerd out for a second so you guys know that I'm not being dramatic about this bike. The Ducati S 1199 is running a 1198 CCL twin. Desmodromic valves, hopefully I said that correctly, and cranking out about 195 horsepower at 10,750 RPMs and close to 98 foot-pounds of torque. And wet weight is about 415 pounds. Now, comparing that to the 2024 ZX6R with only about 127 horsepower, way less torque, and the wet weight is 430 pounds. So this Ducati weighs less than my 2024 ZX6R. Here's where the S makes a big difference from the base 1199. It's not just a badge flex, it actually comes with real hardware. So hopefully I'm saying this right, but the base 1199 has Marzocchi forks up front and a Sachs shock out back. Compared to the S model, you get Öhlins Nix 30 forks up front and a TTX 30 rear shock, both tied into Ducati's DES, and DES stands for Ducati Electronic Suspension System, but without the extra S. That means you can adjust your suspension all just from the dash. Now for the wheels, the base 1199 has cast aluminum wheels, and the S has, now listen, hopefully I'm pronouncing this correctly, but I believe it's Marchesini forged wheels, which is lighter, stronger, less rotating mass, which makes flicking this bike in corners feel way better. And you also get a carbon front mudguard. All these lighter components will just make the bike feel like a premium race bike. So when you're wondering why the S model feels like it's just totally different from the base model, that's because it just actually is. Okay, let's talk about the pros of this bike, the things that I absolutely love about the 1199S. The acceleration. This bike doesn't just pull, it yanks. You twist the throttle a little too hard, it's almost like you're being dragged by the bike instead of actually controlling it. Handling. The lighter weight, the forged wheels, the Öhlins suspension, flicking this bike side to side feels super effortless and instant. The ZX6R, it's nimble, but this feels like cheating. Brakes, dude, it's like Ducati was like, here, have some Brembo brakes that could absolutely stop a jet. No problem at all. The bite, the feedback is insane. The front brake is incredible. Obviously, the rear brake, sometimes it almost feels like the rear brake is better than the front brake. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just what it feels like. The vibe, I can't lie. The sound of the twin. Heads turn when they see this bike. It's almost like walking into a room with a suit on and everyone else has sweats. Now for the cons, the things I don't like about this bike. Low RPMs. Now, like I said before, below 5,000 RPMs on this bike, it's twitchy, it's jerky, it's sensitive. On the 6R, it is incredibly smooth. On the 1199, you're wrestling this thing. Now, obviously, the elephant in the room that Ducati is absolutely known for, and that is the OEM factory butt warmer, the exhaust underneath the seat. Now listen, cool design, some could argue. During the winter, I could see how this could be the best bike to ride. During the summer, absolute worst bike to ride. If you are not constantly moving on this thing, and when I mean moving, I mean going at least 60. Okay, so before I was rudely interrupted by my neighbor who is doing the fucking lawn right now, and also it was getting way too hot outside. I was starting to sweat, the camera was starting to overheat, so I came in the garage. That's why there's a change of scenery. But like I was saying, if you're not constantly moving at 60 miles an hour on this thing, yeah, it's not looking too good. Lane splitting and lane filtering is part of your new normal when it comes to riding, because yeah, like I said, if you're not doing any of that, this bike is gonna get up to 227. This shit's gonna overheat. It could stop. It's cut off on me once at a light, and I had to push it to the side because it wouldn't start again, and I had to let it cool down just a little bit, and it started. So there's that.
Sure? But regardless, we got everything done. Cannot wait for tomorrow. Anyways. Oh no, you gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. There's no way. Oh, there's no fucking way, bro. Bitch. Bro, is that a fucking Ducati thing or something? The fuck was that? What in the hell, dude? How the fuck does the bike just die?
And then another thing that I noticed too is when you're at a light and that light stays red for a while, the exhaust, right, it starts to heat up more and more and more and more. And then when it turns green and you start to give it throttle, it's almost like the bike is pushing the most hottest lava airflow into your leg, and it's literally the worst. And then let's talk about comfort. The seat, in my honest opinion, the seat is trash. The seat feels like cardboard, and I totally understand why Ducati riders only ride on the weekends. Another weird thing about this bike is the ergonomics. The suspension on the left side, that thing digs into your leg, and then over time, which is weird, I wonder why it does that, but it does tend to get pretty warm. Not like an uncomfortable warm or to where it's burning you, but you could definitely tell that that thing is warming up. You know, the closer I get to returning this, the more excited I get about riding my bike and getting that thing back. The thing I miss the most about the ZX6R is just having the smaller bike mentality. It's just more forgivable, and the bike isn't trying to kill you 100% of the time. And I really miss the smooth throttle input at low RPMs. Just no twitchiness. And yes, I miss the comfort on the ZX6R. Now, I'm not saying the ZX6R has the best seat out of all the 600s, but compared to this thing, way better. So when I get my ZX6R back, I'm definitely going to be extremely excited, because as amazing as this bike is, the Ducati Panigale S 1199, nothing beats the ZX6R and how fun that bike truly is. So my final verdict of the Ducati Panigale S 1199 versus the Kawasaki Ninja ZX6R. The Ducati is insane. Faster, lighter, scarier, hotter, literally hotter, like actually cooking your leg hot. The ZX6R, more comfortable, more manageable, and honestly way more livable. I am extremely grateful to borrow this bike from my good friend Edgar at Danese, Seattle, but when I hop back on my ZX6R, I'm just absolutely gonna appreciate the hell out of it. The question is, would you borrow a bike like this for a week knowing you would have to give it back? Or would that just ruin the ZX6R for you forever? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this comparison video of the Ducati 1199 versus the Ninja ZX6R. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you've been watching my videos and haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell as well. I will see you guys in the next video. Deuces.